Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at Daria 2.0. So with the release of the new cards, Daria gets a little bit of a boost, adding a couple of Wizard of Oz to a pretty standard Daria lineup overall. There's nothing that's overly changed except for dropping Kaleidoscope Glow to 1 because its effect only really hits 2 drops, which just aren't as frequent as the 3-4 drop range of neutral curves, so 1 glow seems to be enough to run this, while Conjure Golem gets a lot more value due to its 2-2 body, which is why we run that at 3. Other than that, we've got double Witchet because we don't really need that super early drop. We're much looking for the higher stat drops or the rush drops, which are a little more important. Double Demonic Strike to go with the Wizard of Oz, obviously. Piercing Rune also combos nicely with Oz, along with any other important spell that can work quite well with it. Plus, its double draw is just great. Can't really go wrong with Wizard's double draw. Other than that, we also have, you know, the triple Daria combo sets along with other things. So overall, this deck obviously isn't going to be top tier meta. This is just something I enjoy personally. I really love Daria decks. I've enjoyed them since their launch and pretty much about it. So we'll get right into the games here. So we have match 1 here being against another Runecraft. This Runecraft is Dirt Rune. So Daria vs Dirt Rune, and we get an okay hand. Insight in your opener is always a nice little drop. Outside of that though, I'd really like something else. And double Insight Ogler. Can't go too wrong with this hand. So we can drop Insight, boost our Oglers by 2, so we get basically a 2-for-1 boost, which I always enjoy getting. Going from there, we do draw into the Conjure Golem, filling out our 2 curve pretty much perfectly. If you get a good hand with Daria, there's some crazy stuff you can do with it when it comes to spell boosting. For example, this is awesome, being able to just boost things. But instead I do decide to go with the Ogler here, instead of boosting the Daria. I prioritize getting board presence because expecting Dirt Runes and Neutral Runes set up, then you really want to push that board pressure. Keep up that tempo swing is what you want. So we already have 5 damage on board and we're able to push out the extra Ogler. So even with an evolve here, it's going to be fairly difficult for them to deal with everything, which is good. Unfortunately, they do end up with a Piercing Rune combo, making things a little more difficult, but nothing we can't handle with this deck. I mean, Time Worn has some awesome stuff it can do. Being able to push 5 damage just off this Time Worn Mage is really cool. So we do push a total of 5. Being able to then have that be procced, which is okay. Fortunately, Halo Golem is a bit of a pain in the ass. But we do have Daria if we decide to play at turn 6. Our other option would be to draw into something crucial, such as Time Worn Mage, making this whole hand much better. We can kill off the 2-2, hit them for 3 in the face, along with a Blade Mage for another 2, so we get a total of 5, leaving them on 3. Taking a little bit of a risk by doing it this way, but no risk that I'm willing to not, you know, not handle, I guess. So now, to aim for lethal, I need Daria to pull off either a 1 or 2 drop spell along with my Blade Mage, which fortunately Daria always seemed to have pretty good odds of pulling a Blade Mage when I do this, so able to pull that for game, which lines up really nicely. Closing out game 1. Now on to game 2. We have Shadowcraft. I'm pretty sure this is a Nep Ledger. Keeping things a little interesting. We're not really fighting meta decks at the moment. I haven't, obviously the few games I got with this deck, I haven't seen many meta decks. Other than that Earth Rune, which still had a weird subset of cards, honestly. So our opener is okay. Blade Mages are great. I wish I did have the insight for one, but even without that, it's not too bad. So I'm not too worried about killing off the 2-2. So I just ignore it, hitting them in the face, even though they're just going to heal. I already knew that was going to happen, so it wasn't really a major issue to me. Fortunately, they do curve out pretty nicely. This game is actually hilarious because towards the end of the match, they actually have a really close victory, and then just decide to fuck it. Other than that though, we've got our insight, which I wish I hadn't have misplayed. I wish I had have played insight on the one curve, setting everything in motion a little better, but unfortunately I misplayed it by ending turn too early before I saw what was drawn, which was a really bad habit of mine. Fortunately, Scholar does make up for it a little bit, allowing us to boost everything up enough. We still need something to go along with this. Fortunately, Wizard has a decent play on turn 6 with Demonic, which is your biggest combo with Wizard in this deck. Other than that though, we basically get to play out as much as we want here. So we just throw out the board, knowing that Shadow doesn't really have an easy way to deal with all of this. And dealing 6 damage to their face straight off this, and we hold on to the Angelic Snipe just in case of a spell boost. And fortunately we see Baylor. He's pretty good. So turn 6, we get to drop our Wizard, which is great. Even though we do lose the Missile and the Angelic, we do have two Kreg Wizards, which are actually alright. I don't mind having those in my hand. But we do get to push plenty of damage and set up our board pretty nicely. So this is where things are more interesting. Our opponent goes for the Death Ledger play, then plays Unica and Goblin, right? So I have lethal on board. They decide to end their turn, not evolve, trade, which would have gave them the potential to win, and then quit. So I was in a losing position, and they quit on me. How great is that? So game 3 here is also against a Shadow deck. I'm pretty sure it's a slightly different variant, but overall not too bad. They're full of misplays. I make a few major mistakes. Like, for example, this opener I probably should have just held on to. The double insight is really good, and with an Ogle is nice. I was kind of aiming for either a Daria or something earlier, but I think holding onto the Ogler would have been the better play. It's been a while since I've used the Daria deck, so getting back into the swing of it. There are a few other misplays, especially towards the end of this match, so I wouldn't take this game too seriously. Even though we do still come out on top, which is nice. So they go for the 1-2, which is good. I mean, I could have played the Conjure Golem here, but I just decided to go for the return, mainly for that extra draw. Since we have Daria anyway, all our boosts are going to be the same. Getting those super early Darias always feels amazing. So, we managed to get the insight. So I go for the triple spell boost instead of just a double spell boost with double Conjure Golem. Especially because Daria is now down to 4, putting it within really nice range. That card unfortunately blocks all fanfare and other, you know, necromancy, those sort of effects that trigger on summon. So I'm not really able to use anything else except for Time Worn. I can't use Daria just to proc my hand and then go face. So I've got to get rid of that 3-1. Fortunately, this isn't a bad play. The Crimson Sorcerer is a nice source of damage, and I'm able to use the Conjure Golem to summon a 2-2 body, which I don't mind too much, honestly. Being able to get those 2-2 bodies out. The unfortunate part is they have Necro Assassin. I'm guessing this deck is meant to be an idea of kind of a counter deck to Sword and Blood at the moment, because they do have a fair bit of removal and a little ping damage sort of things, so definitely interesting. Nice to see something different pop up. So I get another Time Worn, think, whatever, may as well play it out, use the evolve point I got there, score the extra 3 points of damage and a spell boost. And we go for the Conjure Golem. Pretty much the same value as if we went for the Wizard. Unfortunately, we get the Ogla and the Witchette, which is a full board play, so not going to be easy for Shadow to deal with this. Unfortunately, they do play Phantom House. Which still doesn't help them too much. I mean, you know, I've got a good amount of damage. This is where things get really fucked up. They play Anomaly, allowing them to kill off something and then evolve and trade, giving them a 10 beat stick, which is crazy. So while I'm left with 5 damage, they have a 10 value card. So I ended up going the Wizard into the Daria, which is an okay play. I thought that was pretty reasonable. I fucked up by probably playing the Mage there though. I should have just played Demonic Strike, even though next turn would be the same playability. I just think it might have been better to do it that way. And obviously they're going to trade into my board, leaving me with a 2/2 available. So I play the Daria, just because I'm like, I don't have any other option. I need to get something in my hand that I can actually use. And I do get the Blade Mage. Unfortunately, what I should have done is traded that other follower and the Blade Mage both into the 10-3, clearing it. Instead I decided just to hit face here, which ends up working out, but I mean, that would put me at a huge risk. I was one off them having lethal on me, which is really not a good spot to be in. Fortunately, they do end up having the Necro Assassin, their own 10-1, just to clear off this 5-5. But they do get Usher of Strix, which is pretty good. But I have Wizard, so why not? We get out the Wizard, get some other cards to go along with Wizard. So we managed to pull the game back from that really tight spot we're in by not trading into the big 10 drop. And they're forced to play Anomaly here. But we win, so not bad. So overall this deck does okay. I haven't had much luck against full meta decks such as Sword and Blood. But it's fun. If you want to take this through unranked, you want to complete your missions, you just enjoy playing Daria, this deck's actually quite alright. There's a couple of things I might try and change around in this deck if I was to change things. Maybe dropping, I don't know, something else, probably one of the Angelic Snipes or something, add an extra glow maybe. Or just change a couple of smaller cards, maybe add in 2 mutagenic bolts just to deal with the late game, plus they combo nicely with Wizard, which is good. Other than that though, I really enjoy playing this deck, and I hope you guys do too. As always, the deck list will be in the description below, along with any other information you guys could need, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!